Can a wind farm be placed on just any ridgeline? You and I have an insatiable appetite for electricity. Come with me and we'll look at the issues relative to wind farms and the communities that they serve. This is the Windfarm Guy. Hi, this is Dennis Stout, and thank you for joining me for this episode of the Windfarm Guy. Obviously, mountaintops can have strong winds. Anyone who's ever been on top of a mountain knows that. Unfortunately, today, this mountaintop is experiencing not much wind, but it typically does. But not all ridges are good for a wind farm. Certainly, there are the 5 typical questions. 1, are the wind resources good enough? Is there a transmission line nearby that has available capacity? Does the area have favorable permitting? Are electricity prices in the area favorable? And are there willing landowners? These are the 5 questions that should be asked for every wind project. However, for a ridgeline project, there are a few others that need to be added. Is it buildable? Sure, there may be strong winds, but the question begs to be asked, can the project be built economically? Ridgetops can be very rocky with rough terrain. Many ridgetops are so rough that roads need to be built to even do the studies. You need to install met masts on the ridge. Do you have that ability early on to get the equipment up there to erect the masts? If not, what would it take to create a pathway there? Then the big question is, can it be built? Can the delivery vehicles carrying heavy equipment and components get up to the top? Trucks have a maximum grade that they can safely ascend, given their load. Trucks carrying wind turbine blades are also quite long and can turn only so sharp. Is there already a road that can accomplish this? If not, is there a way to build one? What would it cost? And is it practical? Once up there and the roads are in place, would it be navigable by the long delivery trucks? After delivering the components, is there a way for the trucks to exit another way, or do they have to exit the same way they entered the ridge? If not, is there a place that they can safely turn around? And if they turn around, is there enough room for 2 loaded vehicles on that road for them to pass? Would the cranes be able to safely navigate the ridgetop? These are just some of the questions regarding roads. There are also concerns with operating the equipment safely on such slopes without putting the operators in precarious or dangerous positions. There's also staging concerns. There has to be enough room around the turbine location to place all the components before erection, as well as space for the equipment used in the construction process. It's hard enough to build a wind farm in an open, flat field. It is exponentially harder on a ridgetop. Is there wildlife? Ridgelines most times have trees and other vegetation. With that, there will also be wildlife. What will the impact on the wildlife be and the habitat in the project area? Will it harm the wildlife? Are there any threatened or endangered species in the area? Wind companies hire reputable environmental and wildlife specialists to do appropriate studies. But then what about maintenance? All machines need to be maintained, and most times we try to keep maintenance costs down. Because of the wind behavior on some ridgetops, up at hub height, things can get kind of rough. As the wind comes up the face of the mountain and reaches the top, in certain situations, it creates kind of a rolling or swirling motion that jostles the turbine about. So rather than a smooth spinning of the rotor, it's jerked around some. That can create unnecessary wear and tear, thereby shortening the life of some components and increasing those maintenance costs. Finally, is it advisable? That's right. Is it a good idea? I once worked on a ridgeline project where the ridge literally came to a point. It was rough country. Honestly, all of the things I've mentioned in this episode were factors and considered in the company's build decision. Ultimately, it was determined that the project wasn't feasible. Sometimes it just makes more sense to terminate a project than move forward with it. If you like what I've said today, be sure and click like and subscribe below. If you have thoughts or want me to address a particular topic relative to wind farms, please also leave me a comment. In any wind project, much consideration goes into its development, construction, and operations. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of decisions that have to be made in the process. And a Ridgeline project has significantly more considerations to make than one down on flat ground. This is Dennis Stout, and I'm the Windfarm Guy. Thank you for watching. Working together, we can make good energy decisions and save our planet. I am the Windfarm Guy.